Yo, yo, salute.
What is going on, man? What's the deal?
Good morning, Raider Nation. Yo, welcome to another episode of Good Morning Raiders. We got a fire show for y'all and a very special guest. So let's not wait any longer. Let's go ahead and kick things off. Here we go. Raider Rundown. Appreciate you, my guy, Cheeto Linus. Appreciate you, guy, Chris, Protect the Shield. Good morning, brother. How you doing? My guy, Lunatic Raider, Raider League.
Hey, yo.
What up, Lo? What is good? What is good? None other than our guy.
What is going on, man? Always a fire intro, bro. Always
Oh,
gets me in
yes, it gets me pumped. Yes, I'm like, ready to go. Good morning and salute to all of our peoples already in the building and everybody pulling up. Welcome to Good Morning Raiders. We are your hosts. I'm Jay Raider. This is my guy, the Raider Rundown, back in full effect.
Yes,
For
sir,
another-
man. Yeah, another great Saturday morning. Always looking forward to it. You already know what it is. Make sure you guys are tapping on the buttons on both channels, as y'all know. And always glad to do this thing with my man Jay, man. We get to talk to our fire guest, and we got another one this week, so it's gonna be a good one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And before we go ahead and get into it, we need to go ahead and acknowledge all of our people already here. Really quick shout out to my guy Ray Run. My guy was already camping out last night. Salute to him.
Hey,
Appreciate you tapping
salute,
in with
salute,
us.
appreciate it.
Yeah. My guy G Fam in the building. What a
What's
dude.
going on? What's going on?
Ardell, salute, brother.
Salute,
OJ
salute,
Raider in the building. What is good,
salute,
my guy?
salute.
Salute, yes, sir. Dragon Breath Raiders, let's go, baby. That's what's up. Our guy Cheeto Linus in the building. Salute, my guy. Appreciate you pulling up.
What's going on?
There you go. Chiefs fan.
Hey,
We got a Chiefs fan this
can't be
morning.
mad at it. Can't be mad at it.
Yeah. It's all good. Salute, man. Welcome. My guy Dixon in the building. Rafa in the building. What it do? Appreciate you
What up,
guys
man?
pulling up and everybody coming in. Whether you in the chat or you spectating, make sure you guys go ahead and hit those like buttons, hit that subscribe. It does really help to go ahead and support the shows.
Yeah,
For
salute
sure.
Ardell, man. He says baby rundown, learn to cover two already. He ready to play nickel. The way he looking right now, he ready to take over for Christian Wilkins' spot. The way he chubbing up, so I'm gonna tell you that right now. We talking about DT. We not talking about nickel right now.
Oh yeah. And then I got my little man's over here, BBJ, my next linebacker, bro.
Hey,
Ready to
you
go
feel what I'm saying?
ahead.
I gotta wait
Got
for my
that.
man to slim back down for me to start talking about his real position. Right now,
Yeah.
it's too much chub in the way.
There you go. Exactly. That's what's up. But let's go ahead and kick things off, y'all. Let's go ahead and bring out our guest. You know this man. He has his own channel on YouTube. You can go. He puts out fire videos uh, weekly. So make sure you guys go ahead and tap in and give him a subscribe if you're not already subscribed to him. But let me go ahead and bring out none other than Raider D in the building. What's
Yes,
good, brother?
sir.
Welcome, welcome.
Y'all know what time it is. Raiders! Let's get hyped this morning.
Yes,
It's
Hold
a
on, hold
Saturday morning. We talk about Raiders, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Starting off right, man. We started off right.
I'm ready.
I love it. I love it.
I'm ready
I love
for the
it.
season. Let's
Hey,
get it. What's up, brothers?
What's
There you
going on
go.
with you, big dog? What's going on with you, man?
Man, I am hyped up about the 2025 NFL season, more so than I have been in probably a decade plus, because I think the Raiders just got it going on this year. Now, I say this every year, but I actually believe it this year, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hyped up. I know there's a lot of stuff that we gonna talk about today, man. But I'm just excited to be here with you guys. I've watched a bunch of your videos, and your podcast is fire. The intro is absolutely fire, man. I love it, man. I love all the Raiders content creators that are just putting out quality content. I tell everybody, man, get you a microphone and you already got a camera in your phone. If you love the Raiders, put some content out there. You might not blow up and have 200,000 subscribers, but it don't matter, right? Just put it out
Yeah.
there, because the more Raiders content that we have out there, the more we're going to convert more people over to the silver and black, man. Because there's little kids right now, they daddies might be like, a 49er fan or a Chiefs fan or something. Let's go ahead and convert them over to the dark side.
Yeah, there you go. That's what's
Exactly.
up. Yeah, and as my guy Leo always put it best, we all started at one. We all started
Yep.
with just one subscriber. That's how
Yep.
we all keep things off.
That's a
But-
fact.
And who was that one subscriber? Ourselves. Because
Yeah,
I know that's
yeah.
what I did. I was my
Yeah.
first subscriber.
That 100%, 100%. You're not lying about that one. I remember that. I was my first 2 subscribers. I had one, and I used my pops channel to give me another one. So that was there.
Yeah, I was all
Yeah.
excited when I got my second subscriber until my wife told me it was her.
Right? I had the whole family tapping in. They're like, subscribe. I had like
Yeah.
subscribers within like the first 5 minutes.
I was like, people like my content, babe. I got another subscriber. She was like, yeah, I just subscribed. I was like, oh, man.
Hey, that's how it always starts, though, man. It's all good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off. Something that came out earlier this week: Christian Wilkins still in a boot. So there was a picture that circulated the beginning of this week. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. So we got Christian Wilkins attending a charity golf challenge, Calvin Noyes charity golf challenge, and it was seen in a boot. He was alongside Loalu. So we're about almost 3 weeks away from training camp. What does this mean? Is this really a cause for concern? And this kind of goes into my next question: is does he really make it to training camp? Will he be 100% or close to 100% enough where he's actually going to start practicing? So let's go ahead and start off with our guest, Raider D. What are your thoughts? You seeing this picture? What's your first thoughts when that comes to mind?
I mean, it's devastating because he was supposed to be able to even make it back at the end of the season for probably week 15 or 16 to play out the last couple of games when he originally broke it. That's what the reports were coming out, that he would miss most of the season, but he would possibly be able to make it towards the end of the season. And then we knew the season was over, so when he didn't come back, we all just assumed, like, why put him in there and risk a re-injury when we're not going anywhere? So that's why he didn't come back. But then he's been in his boot pretty much for, 9 months now, and it's really concerning that he's back in the boot after being able to take it off, because what that tells me, and what a lot of people don't know, is I had to go and look this up. The Jones fracture is one of those, it doesn't look very bad when you look at like an x-ray picture of what a Jones fracture is, but for a big guy of his size, 300 plus pounds, it's a devastating injury, because he needs to be able to move a massive amount of weight off of his foot. And if it's not 100%, then he'll just re-injure it over and over again. So I think what's happening right now, I think he got out of the boot. I think he tried to do some stuff and he was feeling something in the foot. They went back, they analyzed it. Now there's reports that have come out that have said that the Raiders staff are basically demanding he go get a second surgery. And if that's the case, he could reasonably, I don't think he'll miss the entire season, but he could reasonably miss the first half of the season. I think he would make it back somewhere around week 9 to 12, somewhere around there. But it sucks because we paid him over $100 million and he's played 4.5 games. And that's a big salary cap hit, and we really don't have a quality replacement for him. I'm looking at our roster of DTs, and I don't see anybody that's at his caliber. I mean, it's not looking good. We got some young guys who could step up and really, show out this year, and maybe we have a gem sitting in here, but I don't see anybody. And I know you guys were talking earlier before we went on air. Maybe we should get a veteran to come in or something like that. We're already pretty loaded. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 realistically, actually 11 realistically if you count Tyree Wilson, who can jump into that situation. But it looks like from training camp they're really aiming at him going back to being a traditional defensive end. So he may not come back on the inside. So we're loaded with defensive tackles, but outside of Adam Butler, Jonah Laulu, he could step up and maybe do something.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm not happy about this situation because we finally have what looks like is going to be a decent offense. We have a great head coach, great offensive coordinator, and now here we go back again where we can't have just both sides of the ball be good. It's either one's good and the other one's not, or one's good and the other one's not. So I'm not happy about it, but I'm trying to be optimistic as much as possible that whatever's going to happen, he'll at least be able to make it back for the second half of the season when it really counts.
Yeah. You want to go, Jay, or you?
No, go ahead.
I 100% agree. Everybody know my thoughts on it. I've done countless shows or whatever the case, on Saturday or by myself that has stated, you can. Some people could tell me he could play week 1, and that's fine. But my question always goes to, okay, how much training camp does he get? I've always asked that question. Like we can have an inside source off as much as we want. You know what I mean? We can all be like, oh, he's gonna get a surgery or he cannot get a surgery or whatever the case. But either way it goes, the real question is how much training camp does he get? And I've said it to Jay countless times. If he don't get much of a training camp, season's a wash for me. It's a wash. Because at the end of the day, bro, you telling me a 300+ pound human being don't get no conditioning, don't get no time to get no physicality in, and you expect him to just walk straight in and be ready, right? And I always sound negative when I say these certain things, but it's like when certain people are like, "Oh man, he's a veteran, he'll be fine." Let's keep it a bean. He's not no Aaron Donald though. Let's keep that a bean. Yeah, all right. So yeah, he is a veteran, but there are levels to certain things. Like
so was Colton Miller last year, and look how bad he was.
Look how he started. Camp. Remember Josh Jacobs? He didn't get no training camp, and for a lot of us, I know myself included, with Josh, when he missed the majority of that training camp that year for about half the season, I was like, he don't look right. Half the season, Josh Jacobs did not look right until he started getting that conditioning, and then I was like, okay, there it is. There's the regular Josh, but it's gonna happen. Happens to every athlete. So at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to be surprised if he don't get no training camp and we just rush him out there week 1 and he's not the regular Christian Wilkins he's supposed to be. I've always said it. If what Raider D is saying is true and it comes out that he needs a second surgery, shut his ass down for the rest of the season, bro. I don't even want him to play this year, to be honest with you. I don't.
And this, to be clear, this is not an inside source. I just seen this online. I just seen it online.
And I'm not saying it's your source or whatever, but I said this last week too. When we was with Mike, you know what I mean? If he needs a second surgery, bro, sit him down. You feel what I'm saying? He doesn't need to play. He don't need to play this year. Now I know some people are going to be mad at that, but just in my personal opinion, I have us at 8 or 9 wins. That's personally not playoffs, right? I've always said make the playoffs next year. And with a better free agency class, with more time, with these rookies to be better, you would assume another good draft class. We be ready next year, which is when I would say to make that playoff push anyway. So at the end of the day, bro, I would let the rookies play this year, let the youngest play if he needs that second surgery.
I think it would come down to one thing really. If you're looking at week 9, if he does go and get the surgery, he needs to hurry up and do it now because he's just wasting time. But from the report that I read, he is weighing his options, right? Should he just let it heal up some more, or should he go and do it? But let's say by week 9, we're 5-4. He's ready to come back. And our defensive tackle position has been a weak spot outside of maybe Adam Butler. Do you put him in then? Because we're still in playoff contention. It's still early in the season. And he's back 100%. He's ready to go. At least healthy. He might not be conditioned 100%, right, but his foot's 100%.
At that point, if I know his foot's good, sure. But then again, it's like, we all know the nuances of it. He's not going to, I wouldn't play him that much at the beginning. He'd probably be, sparring in the rotation here and there, what I mean? Which would help for sure. Because if we're already still in playoff contention and our heads are above water at this point, a dude of that caliber with that talent would only help the situation. So, yeah, I mean, you add him to the rotation, that would be even better. So, yeah, the only way I'm putting him back this season is until I know that foot is 100%. Because if we rush him back, this is something that's going to linger for the rest of this man's career, for real. Like, it will linger. And then
the big danger is that guaranteed money. He's got, what, 80 million guaranteed?
Yeah.
So if he ruins that foot, we just eat that money.
Exactly.
We get nothing. Yeah.
And see,
that's why I know a lot of people are like, oh, you just cut him, trade him, whatever. First of all, nobody's going to trade for a dude who has a Jones fracture and he's healing from it. And second, you can't cut him because you're just eating that money anyway. So you might as well just keep him on the roster and let him sit. Like you said, I agree. Just let him sit if he's not healed, and hopefully one of our young guys can show up in a big way.
This is where I have to disagree. This is probably where some of the frustration with this injury would come too, right? Well, and this is my personal opinion. OJ says if you want to change the culture, like truly change it, it has to be a playoff berth this year. No, it does not. No, it does not. It has to be something sustainable. There are certain things that we haven't even done as a team that I can't even be confident in right now. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, we haven't even won a playoff game the whole time I've been alive. Everybody know that.
Yeah, we have not won a playoff game.
So at the end of the day, bro, like
2000 something.
I can't say that.
99, 2000, 2001, bro.
Yeah,
you wasn't born yet.
Oh, well, I don't remember. I'll tell you like that. I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention.
Age.
Yeah, I'm babbling. I'm barely forming sentences at this point. So at that point, bro, it's like I have to see us take certain steps, bro. We can't even come off a bye week and be confident as Raider fans right now. So how are we going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it has to be that? Like, nah. The culture could change if you win 9 games. It could still change. That could be a culture changer right there. We won 4 games last year. Shit.
What you need to
the mark is not that high. Yeah, the mark is not that high.
It's not that fucking high. Like, I don't get, bro.
Now I know Raider Rundown doesn't remember because he wasn't born yet. But when John Gruden took over the team in the 90s and he rebuilt that offense, they didn't start out. I think that his first year they won like 6 or 7 games, right? Mm-hmm. But that was an improvement over the previous year where we won like 3 or 4 games. And so, he took us all the way to the point where we should have been in the Super Bowl, but, the refs cheated us in that Patriots game.
Yep.
And then when we did make the Super Bowl, then we had to face him, and Bill Callahan was a complete and utter moron and did not change the playbook. So the defense, Tampa Bay, knew what we were doing. But the point is, it is a progression. So it's rare that you're just going to be a Houston Texans or a Washington Commanders and be the worst team in the NFL one year and then go to the playoffs the next year. That's very rare. It is, in my opinion, a possibility this year, though, due to a couple of factors. One, excellent coaching, and number 2, is we have a quarterback who can sling the ball very accurately. Now, that's also going to come down to, can we have a run game? Well, that's why you went and drafted Ashton Genty. If you put those two things together and you all and we have collectively, almost it seems like we've all forgotten that we have the best tight end in the NFL. Like like we're talking about Geno Smith, we're talking about Ashton Genty, we're talking about injuries, we're talking about have we forgotten we have the best tight end in the NFL as a Raider Nation?
Definitely.
So I think it is a possibility that we squeak into a wild card position this year. But like I said, if we win 8 or 9 games and we barely miss the playoffs, I book that as a win in my book.
Facts. That's what I was just saying. I mean, to me, it's and of course, a win for me is saying that in December I can still look at that screen when it says in the hunt. And my team is still in there. I'm used to November, damn near. You know what I mean? In November, when they start saying in the hunt, we already out the damn frame and graphic, bro. Yeah. Like we can't even be seen nowhere in there. So at this point, bro, I just want that. If I can see that, and maybe like Raider D said, we miss it. We miss the playoffs by a game or something like that. I can live with that. That's first year of this regime. Of this of them putting their pieces in place. Now, can you imagine what we do next year? Something to build on. And now we can continue. You know what I mean? And keep the same coaching staff and same front office.
Yeah. But do you think, if you look at the offense over the past 3-4 years, do you think the Raiders are in a better situation offensively this year to score more points and win more games?
Yes, definitely. And I've been saying it for quite a while now. This offense is almost a totally different offense. That's what we're going to see this year. For one, we get to run the ball. 2, now we actually got a quarterback that actually can sling the ball. And like you said, he's very accurate. And that's something that I know there's people out there going to say, well, he had 12 interceptions the year prior, but look at the team that he was in. He had
the worst offensive line in the NFL.
Terrible O-line, no run game. Terrible. And he tried to be Superman. He tried to make plays when he really shouldn't have. But he didn't have any real weapons where he can really make those type of plays, right? Yeah, you had DK, but I mean, obviously they're double teaming DK, right? So what are you going to do at that point? But now he has Brock Bowers, he has Ashton Genty, Jacoby Myers, who went out and drafted 2 wide receivers, Dante Thornton, Jack Bash. Don Thornton really coming out in OTAs. So that might be the deep threat right there, because he's already beating Chin over the top a couple of times in training camp, right? But again, this is just training camp. We'll know in about 3 weeks really what's what, right?
And that's not even that's the mini camp. That's not even training camp yet.
Yeah,
like they haven't
once they put on the pads, it's a different story. Yeah, exactly.
When they put on the pads, then we're gonna really see what these guys are made of. Yeah. I'll say this though about Geno Smith: the people that complain about Geno Smith coming to the Raiders, and him not, it seems like because we haven't won a Super Bowl since the '70s, that Raider Nation got PTSD every time we get a new quarterback. Because if that quarterback hasn't won 15 Super Bowls, then he's a bum, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Geno Smith, if you look at the cast of characters that he had to work with last year, it pales in comparison to the wide receiver core that he has this year, because he basically had 2 wide receivers pretty much last year, and one is like 32 years old, and the other is a head case, to say the least. And he's, the drops were also an issue with the receiver core last year. And then, like you said, no run game. Well, when you got Jacoby Myers, who didn't drop a freaking pass last year, you got Jack Besh, who's one of the best possession receivers. You've got Brock Bowers, who only dropped 3 total passes last year. He has a cast of characters that he can work with, because we know that he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. If he knows he's going to throw the ball and this guy's going to catch the ball every single time, then he's going to feel so much more comfortable. Now the question is going to come down to the offensive line. can that offensive line that we have right now actually be, I say they at least need to be top 12. If we're at least top 12, we're going to score a lot of points because we just have too much talent. Best tight end in the NFL, best rookie running back to come out of college in decades. And then just, a Jacoby Myers who's a veteran set of hands who just never drops the ball. Plus, he does everything. He's a Swiss Army knife. Brock Bowers, like, it just goes on and on. Like, I think that we could absolutely do it, but it is going to come down to the trenches. So how do you guys feel about the offensive line this year? Colton Miller is 100% healthy now. He is doing full training camp this year, unlike last year. And we did see Colton Miller get back into shape. Unfortunately, it took him like 9 weeks to get there. But once he got there, then he was back to being his old self. JPJ's an absolute stud, should definitely be the starter. But there are still some question marks on the offensive line. How do you guys feel about that?
For me personally, I've said it for a while now, and I think it might be starting to come true a little bit more. But I've said that I think the offense is going to be better than the defense this year. I just personally think that. I just think the offense has a little bit more continuity to it. It'll have a little bit more continuity to it. There's a lot of new pieces now on this defense that are probably now. I'm not gonna say it's going to take a long time to gel, but there's rookies and new guys on the defense where we need them at certain spots where it'll probably take a little minute for everybody to play on one accord. Because as a defense, you need everybody on one sound. So it'll take a minute for that. Offensively, there are veterans and people that's already played that I feel like can step in and right the ship, so to speak. Right. So especially with the quarterback, that's one. So like you were saying, D, when it comes to Geno Smith, I know some people were complaining about that. I don't even listen to nobody complain about Geno Smith no more. When I look around the league and some of these contracts, some of these quarterbacks are signing, anybody that's still complaining about Geno Smith, bro, you can kick rocks. You can argue with your grandma at this point. I'm not doing it no more. So I already know what time it is with Geno. I know we have an upgrade there, right? But you asked about the offensive line, and it's funny that Money Chuck in here. But during the draft, right, my whole thing about drafting Ashton Jeanty was I didn't know if this offensive line was complete. Right, that was my thing. Now looking at it, there are still a couple question marks, and it's primarily for the interior. To be honest with you, it's the guard spots for me. I like the tackles. I'm good with tackles. I know Colton's going to be good. He's not injured this year. I know Glaze is. I hope he takes a step up. But from what I saw last year, I like what I saw. So now coming in here, bro, and JPJ, we already know what's up with that. The guards are the problem for me because right now it seems like they got Alex Kappa just slotted as a starter at the right guard spot. He's just a starter, it looks like. So, okay, they just, you know what I mean? They just went ahead and slotted him there, which, okay, no competition there, it looks like. Because now we're hearing that Parham is in a competition with Thayer Mumford and Jordan Meredith for left guard spot. So, there's that. Personally, I don't want Dylan Parham to start. I'd rather have...
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'd rather have Jordan Meredith. If Thayer could stay, if you could tell me Thayer could stay healthy, then I would say Thayer play guard too. But I don't know if Thayer can stay healthy. So that's my thing. So those are the question marks right now that I feel like need to be rectified, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. For me, really quick before I get my take on it, got a super chat shout out to JT. My guy Raider D, do you think we have one of the most sneakiest tight end rooms in the NFL? Let's chat it up. Shout out to JT Douglas with the $5 special.
Yeah, I don't even think it's like sneaky at all. I think everybody knows that we have the best tight end in the NFL, and Michael Mayer is, in my opinion, probably a top 20 tight end as well. I think that Michael Mayer, because of last year and whatever issues he was having, and he missed so much of the season, that really hurt his career. I would have liked to see that whatever the issue was get resolved a lot sooner, because he is a very talented dude. He blocks extraordinarily well. He's strong. He's big. Like we were calling him Baby Gronk, right? When this dude gets the ball in his hands, he's gonna knock dudes over, and so you definitely want to be able to utilize him a lot more. But we have, several tight ends, and again, we'll be down to 3 tight ends probably by the start of the season. But we have, Ian Thomas, we have Justin Shorter, Carter Runyon, obviously Michael Mayer, Carter Ismail, Pat Conroy, and then obviously Brock Bowers. So some young guys like this Pat, he's a rookie, unsigned or undrafted free agent. Carter Runyon, another rookie. So we got some young guys. These guys are going to end up on the practice squad, but I think we got some good talent there for sure. And Brock Bowers, man, enough said. Mic drop. That's all you got to say right there. This dude is going to have a freaking Hall of Fame career if he has a long, healthy career. There's no doubt about it. And now he has a quarterback who can scramble and throw accurately. That was the problem we had last year, is we had a scrambling quarterback who couldn't throw the ball, and then we had a accurate quarterback who couldn't scramble at all. So now we've taken both of those, merged them together like they had a baby, or I guess he's older than both of them, so I guess they would be his kids, right? And now Papa's in town, and he's going to show how it's done. So I'm really excited about that. I think if Brock Bowers was able to get over 1,000 yards last year with literally 3 different quarterbacks, this dude might have 1,800 yards this year. It's insane.
Yeah, for sure. For me, as far as the O-line, I think Ren said it best. As far as tackles, we know what time it is with Colton Miller. I don't think there's anybody better at left tackle that we currently have. Right tackle Glaze is coming along. I feel he's progressing. I think we're going to see a better version of Glaze come this season in year 2 for him. JPJ, he's basically cinched that position. The guards are the issue. If it's true, Kappa essentially is already getting a starting spot. The other side, it's literally a competition between Mumford, I think Meredith, and then I don't know. I haven't heard too much about Caleb Rogers. I thought he was in the mix. We went out and got the guy in the 3rd round. So I would like to see him be in that contention too. There might be some promise, but we might see him more as a rotational piece. But either way you put it, this O-line is better than last year. It's already becoming better than last year because we know where the problem a lot of it was the offensive coordinator, the whole scheme that they were running last year for majority of the season was just terrible. Once they got Getsy out and they put the Turners in and they put Philbin into as O-line coach, that rectified. We started seeing better play, better protection. We didn't see what's his name, Booger Minshew running for his life all the time. He had a little bit of time in the pocket.
And
he would still run for his life even when he had protection. He would still run for his life because he just didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
I can't see over these tall guys. I'm going to run to the right every single time, even though they have a linebacker right there or a safety ready to take me out. Yeah. So, or I'll just trip over my own feet.
But he had some. AOC had a little bit more time, and we saw that. We started seeing a little bit more progression in the run game. It was still terrible, but we saw improvement. So this year, I feel that we're going to see even more improvement. Now that you got in a coordinator that, for one, knows what he's doing, just came off and won the national championship in the NCAA, and now has a bunch of weapons. Has Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Bowers. We got a receiver room, an actual receiver room. So I feel that we're definitely going to be doubling our wins because that is a mark for me. The magic number is 8 wins. That's where I kind of see is that.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more. A lot of these games are going to be won by a matter of few points. It's not going to be won by 14, 20 points or anything like that. This is going to be one between 3 to 7 points. They're going to be that close of a game. And I want everybody to get prepared to that. We might steal a couple here and there because it'll be such a close game. So for one, I hope that they re-extend Colton Miller because that should be priority number 1 if we're speaking about O-line, because you need to make sure that you cinch up that left tackle position. Tackles don't grow on trees. They don't come around every so often. And when they do, in free agency, usually they get snatched up right away. So, and continuity is everything when it comes to O linemen. So I hope that gets taken care of. But I do see a better version of this offense, better version of this O line, and this year in 2025 for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, even if they can just be top 12, even if they're ranked 12th, I think we're just a much better team. Now, if the offensive line can gel, and one thing that really does help that to gel is when you have a fabulous running back who can just make things happen. That takes a lot of pressure off your quarterback, and we have that in Ashton Jeanty. Now, I talked to a couple of players that are on the team. I've had a couple on the show. One just recently, Chris Collier. And I still talk to him on a daily basis. He's going to be back on the show soon. I asked him point blank, you got a little time with him. Is he the real deal? Yeah, the dude's the real deal. The dude is insane. Now, and listen, Chris Collier is no slouch. No slouch at all. I 100% believe that he will make the team. He'll probably be the third running back, because when you go back, he didn't really get a chance to show himself too much last year. When you go back and look at his college tape, this dude is a bulldozer, and people don't really realize that about him. We have a diamond in the rough of a guy who not only is a bulldozer, but he's also got speed as well. So it's not just Ashton Jeanty. We probably have, quiet as kept, one of the best running back rooms in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Because you have Ashton Jeanty, and if he lives up to even 80% of what we're expecting, he's going to be a top 5 running back in the NFL. And then we just have such quality running backs behind him now that we didn't have last year. Yeah. So I think that, like you said, it's going to come down to, and this is nothing new, where a lot of our games come down to a field goal or less, and then we still don't make the playoffs because we can't finish games. I think that's an advantage for us if we're in those situations, for one reason. Geno Smith is one of those quarterbacks. He is one of the best under pressure. Of all quarterbacks, all starting quarterbacks last couple of years, Geno Smith is top 3 for pressures. And so the dude just doesn't flinch. He'll take a hit right in the face and still deliver the ball right where it needs to go. He does not panic. And so if he can get us down to the goal line, you've got Ashton Jeanty. You have Brock Bowers, right? You've got options there that we really haven't had in years to get into the end zone. And so I think that that's going to be a plus for us. All the defense has to do is just keep us within it. Just don't lay down and die like it used to be, right? And this is why I felt really bad for Derek Carr. Derek Carr, in my opinion, was never a superstar. But he was a decent quarterback, and it was sucked for him because he always had bottom-of-the-barrel defenses. And so it didn't matter if he put up 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. It didn't matter because we still lose the game because the defense would just lay down and die. So I think with Max Crosby being the leader on this team, especially for the defense, hopefully that's not going to be the case with all these new guys. Hopefully he can, gird them up and get them going, and defense can do some stuff. Now, what I'm excited about is Malcolm Kuntz coming back, because I made a video called Batman and Robin, Max Crosby being Batman and Malcolm being Robin. When these two played together at the end of the season where McDaniels got fired, they were lighting it up together. Like, they just fed off each other so well. And Tyree Wilson really has never developed into that. And then I just seen a report last night where Tyree Wilson has been really lighting it up in OTAs and minicamp. And so he may end up pushing Malcolm Kuntz back to the sideline. And I'm like, oh my God. Unless Tyree has really taken a huge leap in his career, please do not put Malcolm Kuntz back on the bench. Because that dude he's ready to roll.
Yeah, I'm not with that. And real quick, to your point about the running back room too, that's much improved. You know what I mean? Very much improved. If you're talking about as a whole too, if you're looking at, because when Pete came out and said he's going to Pete came out and said he wants to do a committee, which made sense, right? I think it makes sense. And yes, you draft a running back 6 overall, but there are certain things that he's just not strong in, right? And then Tashawn Reed even says, that Mostert is the third down back right now. And
Yeah.
so when that is being reported by Tashawn Reed, that lets me know, okay, there are certain things that they either want to keep Genty fresh in, or right now he's not super strong in his game where they're going to let Mostert do for the time being until he grows in that area, right? And on third down, what are you primarily doing? You primarily maybe blocking or certain things, right?
Right.
We know he can run routes. That's not a problem. But if I'm taking you out on third down, there's probably one thing that I need you to do that you're not that strong in. So at the end of the day, right, but to say that, I don't want to knock, it's to say we have different skill sets to help everybody's weakness in the room, right? You look at last year, Alexander Madison and Zamir White and nobody complimented each other at all. There was no complimentation within that room. Now there's a little compliment to everybody, right? Mostert compliments Genty's style of running, if you really look at it, right? And then you look at Sincere McCormick that tries to kind of blend the two maybe together. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and you hope that Mostert can stay healthy as well. But if they do, then at that point, everybody has a different skill set that you can throw at a defense, right? So I'm excited about that. And then to end it off, we go back to Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson. Man, dog, if I hear another Raider player in OTAs, oh my God, he looks so good in OTAs. Oh, he looks great. Bro, it's shorts and shirt. And I'm not saying you, Raider D, but shorts and shirt, bro. I'm so tired of all these Raider players that look like Tarzan and we throw them pads on, dog. I ain't got to complete the saying. You feel what I'm saying? We already know what time it is. So with
100%.
Tyree, I need him to get on this field and start showing out this year. It needs to happen now because he's on contract for next year as well. But this is the year that we'll decide either we're gonna let that money run dry or okay, we might start talking about re-ing up. You know what I mean? We might start talking about getting some new money in here. Malcolm Kuntz does scare me a tad because he's coming off an ACL. So and then usually when you're coming off that ACL, majority I've heard people be like, okay, it takes a year for them to get right after that ACL. Then the following year, they're back to feeling how they usually are. That's usually what I've heard. So I hope that's not the case with Malcolm Kuntz because, we pay. It's only a 1-year contract. So he's going to want to get paid and all the extra. And if he don't really perform that well, then it's a whole different conversation. But he's pivotal. He's pivotal. Because if he don't really perform well, then the defensive line takes such a step back, bro. It takes such a step back. And it's not going to be the defensive line that we need it to be if he's not what we need. That's what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to my question from earlier, do we pick up a DT or do we use Dev? I honestly think, looking at the Dev, there is some talent there. I mean, we went out and got Big East and Tonka Hemingway. With those guys, and we still have Lalu, who literally came off a solid year last year. I think we stick with what we got. I don't think there needs to be another addition. We still have Adam Butler there too. But with Kuntz, if Kuntz stays healthy and he plays hopefully the way we expect him to play, have a really solid year. Because he's on a 1-year prove-it deal. If he could do that, we have a very formidable defensive line, right? Mm-hmm. With Tyree, I made a comment on my guy Raiders Resistance. Shout out to Raider Resistance. He put out. So Max Crosby has the sack summit going on, or had it in Vegas this past week.
Was he there? Please tell me he was there.
I asked the question. Where's Tyree? I didn't see him there. And it was
he wasn't there.
I did not see him there. I didn't see him there. If he was,
all right. Well, hey, this might be premature, dog. I'm sorry, but I'm just going. I don't even want to cut you off, dog. I'm done. I'm done after hearing that. No way that I can see Ja Joyner at the Sack Summit.
Ja Joyner was there.
And
Ja Joyner was there.
Oh yeah, no. We're not doing that. Where were you? Where possibly could you be, Tyree? Where could you be on this day, bro? That your teammate, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, is having a summit to teach pass rushing technique, which you need. Where are you?
And that goes back to your point, Raider Rundown, is like, these dudes who look like Greek statues and stuff, and then you get them in pads and they're not good. Look at Max Crosby with his shirt off. Does that dude look like an elite athlete? He looks like a tall, lean dude, but he's not chiseled. He doesn't look like a Greek statue, but he's one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. And so, we seen the viral Instagram of Zamir White last year, and this is no knock on Zamir, but that's great. You're in the weight room and you look jacked, but then when you got out on the field, you couldn't hit a hole to save your life.
Man.
And so it's time for us to say Tyree Wilson has all the physical attributes to be an elite defensive end in this league, but can he put it all together? Because when you watch his game tape, he has improved slightly, but one of his knocks is he's so slow to get off the line. How are you that slow getting off the line? Do you just is it like a mental error? You just don't want to get in offsides, or what is happening? If he could get his snap count down, he's one of the strongest defensive ends in the NFL. But the strength up against a defensive tackle or an offensive tackle in the NFL, it's not going to do you a lot of good, because those dudes are probably stronger than you are as a defensive end anyway. And if they anchor down, you're done. So he needs to learn how to use his hands. He's got to have some moves, and I just haven't really seen him put a lot together as far as moves. And it goes back to, how many times, you might not remember this because you're kind of young, but back in my day of Al Davis drafting guys with 4.3 speed who can't catch the ball. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like,
we know the lore well. It don't matter if you're a young Raider fan or old Raider fan. You know the lore. You get somebody fast, big, and they don't work out.
Yeah. So I want to see, Tyree be able to take that next step. If he doesn't take this year, the Raiders got to cut him loose.
They have to. I agree. And I just real quick want to put up this point. And Raider Ribs, you could be right? He was there last year. Maybe he's visiting fam, working with Max all season. Look here. I'm not trying to be combative to you, but when I get hyped in certain things, you know what I mean? I get hyped. What has he done? What has he done? I don't care about visiting fam. I don't care about no vacation. I don't care about none of that. We're all sitting here. Every Raider fan is saying the same thing. Dog, it is year 3. We already talking about cutting bait with a 7th overall pick. I don't give a fuck what, and excuse my language, I don't give a fuck what you got planned. I don't care what vacation. I don't care what beach you're on. It don't matter to me, dog. You get your big ass out there and you work on pass rush moves. You feel what I'm saying? I just watched this man film. What Raider D is saying is to a T. He'll get the offensive lineman with the initial strip. And then you could see it, bro. You could see it in his helmet. From the back of his helmet, you could see he's thinking about what pass rush move to do next, and he don't think quick enough. And at that point, now we playing tug of war with the offensive lineman. I said it last week with Mike. It happens every single down with him, dog. The time he does decide to not think on the field and actually use his hands, he does something. What a surprise, right? But at this point, bro, it's not consistent enough. So, and it's not towards you, Raider Ribs, but just at the end of the day, bro, for me personally, at this junction and topic right here, dog, we all know how important this season is. There's nowhere else you should be. Zero place, dog. There's veterans like Cam Jordan is damn near in his 50th year in the NFL, and this man is at the Sack Summit. What? Yes. Stop, bro. Stop. He needs to be there. I don't give a damn what he's doing. Why do I hear JPJ with him every day? I shouldn't hear JPJ with Max the amount that he is more than I hear Tyree.
Yes.
Boy, I'd be at Max's hip, boy, if that was
they
me.
were working out together. I don't know what happened.
You wouldn't be able to get rid of me, dog. I'm damn near living with Max if I'm Tyree. That's what it's going to have to be, bro. I'm damn near living with you. I'll pay rent if I have to. Hip,
bro. Yeah.
But you feel what I'm saying? Like, at this point, it's disappointing to hear that. Now, maybe we don't have to hear too much, but at the end of the day, bro, the work, where's the work? You feel what I'm saying? What are we hearing? I'm not hearing nothing different from what he's been doing the previous 2 seasons to get himself ready for the biggest season of football in his life. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, it comes down to that killer instinct, right? If
there you go.
At, Kobe, Jordan, Tom Brady, these dudes had that killer instinct. And so Max Crosby said it perfectly. His priorities are being great at to be the best defensive end in the history. That's his number one priority, then his family, right? And his family understands that. Like, he's going to be gone all day long, every single day, because he's training to be the best at his craft. But when he comes home, everything else goes off, and it's all about his wife and his baby girl.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, so he compartmentalizes that. But, you know, they had that, him and his wife had that conversation before they even, you know, got married, is I'm going to be the best defensive end in history. And so I'm going to be gone all day. I'm going to be working at this
It's a job.
nonstop.
It's a job. Yeah, it's a job.
That's that mindset that you got to have. And I worry about Tyree if he has that. I don't know the dude. I've never talked to him. And I've never heard anything bad from his teammates or anything else about his work ethic. So I don't know, but I only know the results on the field have not been what it should be for a guy drafted 7th overall.
Right.
It's got to be better.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And you know, like my man Ribs is saying, and like everything else, we don't want to speculate. But at the end of the day, what I am saying is that there are just certain things that we have not heard, right? At the end of the day, right? And maybe you can take it with a grain of salt, maybe you're reading tea leaves. But when you hear Max talk about Kuntz, right? Max is one of those dudes, just like certain one of us in Raider Nation, bro. We wear our emotions on the sleeve certain times. And certain times it's very hard when you're that type of person to really mask all the way how you feeling. Listen to when this man started talking about Malcolm Kuntz, right? Listen when he started talking about Adam Butler. He started talking about all these dudes. Max get it's a little different, right? I mean, you don't hear nothing about Tyree. Nothing. Why do I not? I don't hear this man talk about, man, Tyree been over here doing this, man, blah. And Max is one of those dudes. He's gonna big up you. He's gonna big up you if you putting that work in, and he respect the work you putting in. I don't hear that. That's just my issue with it, dog. So right now it's like it has to show. It's going preseason, dog. If I see this man anywhere near 2nd, 3rd string, right, we got a problem. We got and Christian Wilkins not playing. Yeah, we got a problem, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you got to treat this like a job. These guys are getting paid millions of dollars. You know, even at the vet minimum, it's still more than majority of people make. Why wouldn't you treat this as but more than a 9 to 5 job? You got to put in work all the time.
You got to put it in more than just a job, because now a lot of these players, they are just, it's 9 to 5. But if you look at the greats, it's 24/7. It's not 9 to 5. It's 24/7. They are constantly upgrading themselves, and that's the mindset of a champion. And I don't know, like, I just haven't seen from Tyree 7th overall draft pick caliber anything out of him.
Oh no!
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
In my opinion, right now, at best, he is a depth piece backup defensive end / tackle. The dude has all the physical attributes, but can he put it all together mentally? And does he have the drive? Because in college, it's easy when you're born with the physicality that he was born with to just bulldoze over everybody. But when you get in the NFL, you're talking about the best of the best. So you can't just rely on a bull rush every single time to get home.
And you playing at Texas Tech. You know what I mean? I mean, there are certain teams that you're going to play at Texas Tech that aren't SEC caliber type squads. You know what I mean? And
you're playing against future accountants.
There you go. Exactly. So if we see JJ Pegues get more playing time than Tyree Wilson, like, come on, dog. We just got this man damn near 6th round. You know what I mean? Like, and he's getting more playing time than you year one. Like that's gonna be a travesty, dog. If we see that.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I'm hoping we have another Max Crosby situation with some of these young guys, because nobody expected Max Crosby to become what he did when we drafted.
We did not.
And the dude just lit it up his rookie year, and people were like, "Who the hell is this dude?" Right?
Yeah.
And now, when you talk about Max, everybody knows Max Crosby, one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. So I'm hoping one of these young guys can really just light it up, and we're just like, wow, where'd this dude come from?
Well, yeah, we keep talking about Tyree, and basically it's because of, we all know why we talk about Tyree the way we do is because of what was passed up. So we'll never be able to rectify that. You know what I mean? We all know Jalen Carter was there. I mean, I personally, I look at Christian Gonzalez too. We passed on that too. So that's two right there that we could have had. So at this point, man, we don't know. We like you saying, we just gotta hope that he ends up showing out, and then we start getting some contributions from some of the other younger dudes too.
Yeah, for sure. Before I go, switch up to the next segment here. Still sticking on the defense. Shout out to JT. Bolts don't scare me. Mac and James are aging. No bulls. Salute to our guy JT.
Not really. Not really, to be honest. Now that I think about it. The Broncos more than them. Broncos and Chiefs more.
Yeah, that's crazy to say that it's the Broncos now. Shout out to my guy Raider Ryan with the Raiders. Hold on, bro. Let me do it right.
Raiders! Hopefully,
yes,
using that clip for this man for the rest of the season, bro. Like, get some damn playing clips.
I know. I kind of got them too. I got them too.
Yeah, that was a $100 million clip.
That was $100 million clip, bro.
Factuals.
I want payment. I want to see that in the field.
I'm just saying, man, if the Raiders would just give me $100,000, I'll scream that out all season long.
What?
Just give me $100K. Just give me $100. I don't need $100 million.
Exactly. That's all. Right. If that's all you're giving out.
Yeah. I'll take it. Shit. There we go. Let's move on to our next topic here. It's still sticking on defense, options and secondary, right? So we talked about this. We've been talking about this is possibly bringing in another corner for our secondary. We brought in another linebacker just a few weeks ago with the addition of Jermaine Pratt. There is now questions on possibly bringing another corner to go ahead and boost up that secondary. Obviously, we've talked about bringing in possibly Jalen Ramsey, but there's currently out there also still Mike Hilton possibly coming over to the Raiders. The Justin Simmons talk is still pretty strong as well. We talked last week, and I don't know if you tapped in, Raider D, but Vinny B put out something on his mailbag from last week. Ramsey's not on the Raiders' radar currently. Jalen Ramsey and the Dolphins are working on a trade. They're trying to find a trade partner to go ahead and find his next home. Unfortunately, what they want premium draft capital and somebody to go ahead and pick up his current contract, which is around $21 million, right? Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to go ahead and find a trade partner. We're already heading into July. There's no big rumblings as of yet. Jalen has put out that he wants to go to a West Coast team. Obviously, there's only a few West Coast teams, being the Niners, Chargers, Rams, and then us. I don't know if it's going to happen with us now that basically Vinny B is putting out that they're not on his radar. So, what are your guys' thoughts on possibly going out and picking up either Mike Hilton or Justin Simmons, or are they going to go ahead and make a deal for Jalen or wait for him to get cut? I'll start with you, Raider D. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I would be okay with either one. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey's contract is pricey, but we got the money to do it if we're going to get the production out of him that we would expect. My only hesitation is every single time we have done this, it has not worked out. So I have some PTSD from signing these big free agent cornerbacks. It just never seems that we get the best out of them. When they come over here, like their best days are always behind them by the time we actually get to them. I think that right now we have some incredible talent on this team at the cornerback position. I love the Eric Stokes pickup. I think that he has some real potential to be a full-time starter. Don't forget, we have DeCamarion Richardson coming into his second year. He showed a few things last year. He showed some weaknesses as well, but that's to be expected with any rookie corner coming into the NFL. It is a completely different game than what they're used to. I'm really excited about Darian Porter and seeing what he's going to be able to do. He's 6'2", man. And the dude's fast. I mean, he's a receiver. I think this dude could just be a ball hawk. And then at the end of the day, I know he has had issues with injury, but Jacorian Bennett is a lockdown corner. If he can just make it through an entire season, which he just hasn't yet, but when he's been healthy, he's been phenomenal. He rarely misses an assignment. He rarely gets beat. He's always right there around the ball. So I don't know. To me, I think that the Raiders secondary, if our defensive line can hold up and get pressure on the quarterback, which makes life easier for the secondary, I think the secondary with the talent that we have right now will be just fine. And I only say that because we have a head coach who is known for taking no-name corners and safeties and turning them into absolute beasts. And so I trust Coach. I think Coach will be able to get these guys coached up and ready to rock and roll. We may not see it for the first few weeks because, a lot of these guys are young and whatnot, new system. And then, obviously, I know it's Patrick Graham's defense, but obviously our head coach is going to have a lot to say because he's a defensive-minded coach. I say just stick with who we got. I don't really like the making a trade, giving up future draft capital, and eating a very big contract. Now, if he's just cut and released and we don't have to trade for him, okay, we got the money to spend. He is an upgrade to everybody we got on the team day one on paper. Then I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, fully agreed. With the outside corners, I think we're okay with. I would love to get Jalen Ramsey. I've been preaching that for a while, but if we don't, I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk because I think we're okay at the outside corners. I think there's a lot of competition there. I think it's enough guys, like you said. You got Porter, you got Stokes. DeCamerion Richardson is there. Personally, not the hugest fan, but right. It is what it is. But and then the.
But remember, wait. Remember, look, I gotta defend DCAM.
Go ahead.
Corian Bennett's rookie year, he was horrible, and everybody said this dude shouldn't be on the field.
For sure.
And then his second year, he came out, and everybody was like, "Dang, this dude's good." I think the same thing with DCAM. It wasn't because he's fast, he's tall, he's got all the athletic ability that you need. He was just out of position too many times, and I think that's part of just being a rookie. I think you're going to see DCAM actually play a lot better and get a lot more playing time this year. There's already been some rumblings that he has coach's eye, so we'll see if that pans out well for him. But just remember, never the corner position and the quarterback position are the two hardest positions to play in the NFL because when you come from college to the NFL, it's night and day difference, and you're responsible for so much stuff. And so usually a corner, unless it's a Charles Woodson, usually a corner does not play well in their rookie year. But their second year, if they show something in their second year, that's when you know they're going to be a good corner in the NFL. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I just want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he was a rookie last year.
Oh, and
it was a very, very chaotic situation last year, too.
For sure. I've made a lot of jokes at DeCamerion's expense. So at here, right, I will say, but I have said this multiple times, and Jay can attest. The best case scenario is for him and Darian Porter to be our starting corners going forward. I've said this multiple times because they're both young, they both fast, and they're both big. So that would set us up to have two corners to, grow together as the year goes. My only problem with DCAM is that me personally, I think he's a little stiff. And stiff and lankiness don't really mix sometimes at the cornerback position. So right. I'll see. Hopefully his hips get a little bit more, I don't know how to say this without saying pause, but fluid, right? Pause. Hopefully they get a little more fluid and he can open up a little bit easier and it's not so stiff. But that's just me. Now, The real problem, I'm glad Cheeto's in here because he know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
The real anomaly is Jacorian Bennett. That's the real anomaly, right? And for me, yes, he did play well last year, but then to Raider D, and I was gonna bring the same thing up. We saw that first year, right? We understood what the first year was, and then we saw what the second year was. But there's a constant in both years, right? He can't
Injury.
stay healthy. He cannot stay
Yeah.
healthy.
That's
So for
the
me
biggest thing.
personally, which year am I gonna get now? Right? Which year am I gonna get? Because now you haven't showed me 2 straight years, right? Of one of good play. 2, you show me 2 straight years that you can't stay on the field. And that's bad, right? That for me personally, you can't be my CB1. That's just me. If you cannot stay on the field. It's too hard, bro. Because think about this. If you're my CB1 and I need you down the stretch and you're gonna miss 4 or 5 games, well, shit, now I gotta put in my CB2 and 3 to cover the other teams 1 and 2. The math ain't mathing, dog. What are we expecting at this point? And now that's when I done said it multiple times. Now that's when we got DeCamerion Richardson letting Quentin Johnston go for 200 yards. When realistically, we were all just saying, damn, if Jacorian Bennett was just out there. We can't say that no more. It's year 3. You feel what I'm saying? It's year 3. If we really want to take that leap, we have to do it this year. And it's a new coaching staff too. And again, multiple times, this coaching staff has their preferences in corners. You say what you want. Pete has his preferences. He's made it clear, and he's shown it out, right? I like my corners tall or whatever the case. I like them fast. I like them this. Okay, right? The only way Pete goes against that is if a corner is playing so exponentially well and he's so talented, he cannot deny that. That's why he drafted Devin Witherspoon. Devin Witherspoon is not his archetype of corner, but Devin Witherspoon is so talented, right? So athletic, where he's like, hey, but I have to do that, right? I got to find a spot. He ended up putting Witherspoon at slot. He didn't even put him on the outside where he was playing in college. So my thing is, bro, he has to have a great training camp. He has to. Because I already smell, you said it at the beginning, D. I already smell Eric Stokes on his heels. I smell that. I see what time it is. Yeah. And everybody on this panel knows you just draft a corner 3rd overall, and that's your coach's bread and butter position. Oh, yeah, they want him to play. You say what you want, bro. They want Darian Porter to get out there year 1 and play. That's what they secretly hoping. So
it's starting to look that way too.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. They're propping this man up. They are propping this man up already. You could see it, bro. The teammates, the coaching staff. I already see what time it is with that one right there. They want him to be good. Now you only got one more position left. We own with Eric Stokes. It's a battle now in training camp, and may the best man win.
Yeah, for sure. Really quick, shout out to my guy Nav, man, gifting 5 Just Raider Baby memberships to the masses. Appreciate you, my guy. Salute. There you go. Shout out to our guy Cheetah. I was waiting for a run's response to JB.
I just want, hey, bro, and I've never said he sucks, but it's at the simple point of it's the whole injury thing, bro. The injury thing and I just think maybe Darian Porter's ceiling might be higher if you want to be honest.
Really quick, I put up this comment by our guy Cheetah. It's time to bring in Justin Simmons.
Yes.
And we've talked about it because what it's looking like right now that they're bringing Chin down to go ahead and take a few looks at slot. They're really playing him. So will they play him full-time? I don't think it's going to be a full-time, but definitely there's going to be some packages where Chin is going to be coming down. So we've said that there might be a little bit of a liability up top. So how do you cover that liability? Justin Simmons. So what do we think? Would that be a good move? Would that something that we don't need? We go how we at right now.
They got.
Let me get Run's take on that. I want Run to go ahead and kind of, give his 2 cents real quick on that.
Bro, I've been throwing the same dart out there for months and months and months. They got to do something at nickel, dog. They have to do something because I'm not confident in Darnay Holmes 17 games. I'm just not. I like Darnay Holmes. Like if you need him for like 3-4 games, you know what I mean? Like last year when Nate Hobbs got hurt, he played okay in the 3-4 games, but even then it wasn't nothing to make you be like, oh yeah, we could full time. He could be there. Like, no, I think The reason they're trying to play Chin down there is because one, your boy they probably don't have that much confidence in Darnay Holmes in certain situations. So they're like, all right, bro, we gotta figure something out right now and see what's going on. They looked at Shaquille Griffin. Ultimately he went back to the Seahawks, so missed out on that one, right? And from all accounts, it looked like they was gonna sign him to play slot, right? Get in there and get a little nickel. So now there's only one option left, right? And you touched on it too. It's either Justin Simmons and you're comfortable 17 games saying, all right, bro, we're just gonna have to mix it up in the nickel. And Chin one time, Darnay Holmes here, Thomas Harper maybe here. Like they're just gonna mix it up at that point. And you can feel comfortable with Justin Simmons going back there and playing that center field because that's what he does. So you'll be confident in that. Or you go to Mike Hilton route and say, all right, bro, like this is an experienced nickel. We can trust him there to a degree. He tackles well. So then you can play more traditional where just now you don't have to have Chin come down so much at the nickel. He can do more of that linebacker safety stuff. Palomar roams around as he does, bro. But this the thing, bro. I don't it's caught me off guard. I'm sorry. It's caught me bad off guard. Mr. Rub me down on the sideline Holmes. I don't know if y'all ever seen that picture, bro. He was over there getting massaged on the sidelines. It didn't look right. But either way, with this though, for me, I just think you got to go one or two routes, bro, because this secondary is incomplete. Now, we might go into the season and saying that this is just something we just don't get fixed till next year. So that's the third possibility too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Simmons would definitely be a good move, especially right now. Listen, what do you got to move? If you can bring him in, right? Get him into training camp. That's the most important thing. I don't like it when we go and we sign somebody in the preseason or week 1 or week 2. Why didn't you sign him before? Get the deal done so that you have him in training camp and you can see who needs to be on this team and who doesn't before it's too late. But looking at the safety situation by itself, we are pretty deep at safety. Obviously, we brought in Lonnie Johnson. We have Chris Smith. We have Harper, and then we have Jeremy Chin. But a guy that I really like who, unfortunately, was another victim of an injury, a freak injury last year, was Trey Taylor, a guy that we drafted. I know we drafted him in the 7th round. People are like, oh, he's the 7th rounder. This dude literally won the award for being the best DB in college football the year that he was drafted out of Air Force. And one thing, when you go back and you watch Trey's tape, this dude is a tackling machine for a safety. He tackles like he's a linebacker. It's insane. And he's got speed. He's got everything that you need. But he's just been recovering from, I believe it was a knee injury. I don't know the full extent of it.
Yeah.
I think the safety position right now is kind of the most unknown. It's like the guard position on the offensive line. It's the most unknown situation, as well as obviously the nickel corner.
Right.
If we can just figure that out by the end of preseason, I think we'll be okay. Whether it's you bring in Mike, whether it's you bring in Justin, either way, they need to be doing that now, in my opinion. And the fact that they haven't done anything, maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe they do feel comfortable with the cast that we have right now. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think it has to be one or the other. If you're going to go with Simmons, to still bring down Chin on certain packages, do that. If it's going to be Hilton to play that nickel slot the full time, let's do that. We definitely need to go ahead and get that kind of figured out to really cinch up that secondary. I know that, yes, I agree with Raider D. There has to be something we don't know about that they're comfortable with. So I'm just trying to, right now we're playing the waiting game. There's still some more moves to make. Come training camp, Spytech has put it out there that this roster is not done yet. It's still being filled out. So will there be another addition? I think there will be. Whether that's going to come in the secondary or possibly D tackle, that's yet to be known, right? Because that question is still out there. Should they get Are they going to go ahead and just cover their losses on Wilkins potentially being out, and then also addressing that nickel position? So interesting to see kind of where that's actually going to go ahead and go. Um,
Yeah.
really
I,
quick,
I, they
go
gotta
ahead.
they gotta do something, bro. They gotta do something. But like we said, like it just might be something that just don't get to solve this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like and unfortunately, that's what happens when you get new regimes that understand that they got to retool the roster a little bit. Like, and
yeah,
that's why I've been saying and Jay been saying maybe 8 or 9 wins. That's cool right now, or whatever the case. Because there are still certain things on this roster that are not complete. We just came out here and just questioned the guards a little bit, like on the very slight too on the offensive side. No
yeah.
Christian Wilkins. We cannot be as a fan base 100% confident that them two rookies are going to do what Christian Wilkins would do. Right? We cannot be confident in that. So at that
No,
point,
they're improving.
those are question marks, bro. There are question marks on the squad right now, and some people that maybe, and it sucks to say this because it always sounds negative, but it's true when it comes to football. There are rookies and maybe newly signed guys right now that a lot of the nation are expecting big things from, but sad to say, probably won't get that. Right, like that's just
Mhm.
truth in life of football. There's sometimes we expect certain things, and then it just don't come to fruition, and then we look at the season, we're like, damn, well, yeah, that's probably not what we expected. You know what I mean? So I think some of that is going on a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now another thing that's also being linked to the Raiders. Another player that's been linked to the Raiders. Scary Terry has been linked to the Raiders on a possible trade to come over
Oh, pipe dream.
as a receiver. As you know, we technically do not have a wide receiver one. Yes, we have Brock Bowers, but he's technically a tight end. We went out and drafted some guys and Jack Bash and Dante Thornton. They are improving. We don't know what they're going to be yet. We know what Jacoby is. He's more of a wide receiver too. So what's everybody's thoughts on this potential thing actually happening? I don't think it's actually going to be something that really pans out. In my opinion, I think we're good at the wide receiver position. Even if we don't have a true wide receiver one, Brock Bowers is going to be that guy that really gets you going because now we have 5 weapons at our disposal with basically the best tight end in the league, right?
Yeah.
But what's everybody's thoughts on a potential trade for Scary Terry coming over to the Raiders? You got to give up for one, probably most likely draft capital, and you still got to go ahead and take his contract, which right now his market value is around $30 million. So it's pretty penny. Mind you, we still got to re up a couple of dudes currently in our roster. You still got to re up Colton Miller. You still have Daniel Carlson waiting for an extension. Jacoby Myers, you can extend him or you can let him play out the season. That's a different story, right? But in my opinion, I think you should extend them. But what are we thinking? Scary Terry to the Raiders? Could that actually happen? Yes or no?
Go ahead, D.
Go ahead, Tom.
Oh man, so I mean, uh, how has it worked out for the Raiders in the past 20 or 30 years of trading for a very expensive wide receiver? Um, I would say other than when we picked up Jerry Rice, it hasn't worked out at all.
Mhm.
Um, there's a couple of aspects to that. On any, if you look at most championship winning teams, they have one star wide receiver. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. They don't have two. They don't have three. They have one because realistically, you can only afford one anyway with the way the salary cap is. Um, and so, would I be opposed to it? Is he a instant upgrade? Yeah, he is. The
Mhm.
dude's phenomenal. $30 million. He better stay phenomenal. But I don't think that the Raiders realistically will do it. I don't think that they actually even need to do it. And the reason why is because um, this team, with the GM to the head coach Tom Brady being involved, they're all on the mindset of we're going to build this team from the draft. And that's what championship teams do. They build their team over years through the draft, and they draft very well. And then they're very cautious about their money because when you draft well, you need to keep that player.
Right.
And we have, like I said, we have players whose contracts are going to be coming up, and we need to be able to keep them. In my opinion, I think right now, the way, knowing the way that Coach Carroll likes to do things, you're going to see Chip Kelly's offense doing a lot of very creative running. And because you're going to do a lot of this creative running, which, it's not like last year where we know we're just going to run up the middle 3 times in a row. It's going to be a run heavy offense, but it's going to be extraordinarily creative, and it's going to open up a bunch of holes. So do you really need to go out and get a flashy wide receiver? No. And remember, we have Trey Tucker. We have Jacoby Myers. We have Brock Bowers at the tight end. Those are going to be the main guys catching the ball. If Dante Thornton can really show out in the regular training camp and preseason, Trey Tucker's job might be in trouble, and he may end up losing his position. But I think that we have plenty of weapons to be able to throw the ball to. And so for me, I just don't think that it would make a lot of sense giving up draft capital and eating a big contract. And then you look at past experience. Has it gotten us to even a playoff?
No,
not really.
No. It's not the time either. I mean, we're not even at that juncture, right? Like he's not a piece that puts us over the top of anything, right? So that would be the one. Number 2, like, is he an upgrade? Yes, he would be an upgrade. Thinking like his game and Jacoby's game, to me, he's a better Jacoby Myers type of receiver. He's a little younger, but at the end of the day, I think their games are kind of similar, to be honest with you. So then there would be that. So it don't really make sense. I think this is more of a pipe dream, to be honest with you. Now, would it fit? Yes, but it's very. This is the thing, because a lot of people in the nation get, up in arms, and we have arguments about, is Jacoby a number 1 receiver? Is he not? On this team, yes, he's a number 1 receiver. But let's keep it a bean. In the vein of ranking number 1 receivers, right? And you're saying who's in this tier, who's not in this tier. He's not in a certain tier. Okay, let's keep that a bean too.
Yeah, if we was talking about Justin Jefferson, I'd have a totally different take.
Thank you. He's not there,
whatever
bro.
It takes.
He's not there, bro. Jamar Chase. When Jamar Chase looked like he could have left, I'd have been like, I don't care what you pay. If that's the case, dog, you get him over here. If that's how it looks like. But and another point, like D saying, bro, every time we trade for one, it seems like the shit don't work. It seems like we got better luck drafting them. You know what I mean? It seems like we got better luck drafting receivers. So if we're gonna just give up on this dream, I'll just let another dream start right here, man. Just tell Gino that we want his cousin from Ohio State. You tell Chip to put it in, bro. Put the slip in. We want what's his name? Jeremiah. That's what we want. That's what I want. If we gonna sell dreams, bro, I'd rather sell that dream and get Jeremiah.
Right.
No cap.
That would be dope. That would be dope.
We probably gonna have to be dog shit to get Jeremiah. But either way it goes, bro, if we could get him in any form and fashion, I would love to do that.
Right. Yeah. To me, it doesn't make sense to go ahead and bring in a guy like that where you have to go ahead and give up premium draft capital. And remember, we're building. So this is laying the foundation, putting up the sticks. Year 2 is really where you're going to start utilizing your draft capital to go ahead and get more pieces that you really need to make an actual playoff run, right? So we're going to need that down the road. We can't give that up. And mind you, to go ahead and give up the majority of your the majority of your salary cap to go ahead and pay a guy like that, which he definitely deserves that $30 million, but in the essence of things, where you still have to go ahead and re-sign Colton Miller and bring back Carlson and re-sign Jacoby Myers, it does not make sense. It will not put us over the top. We're not really looking like a playoff contender at the moment. Obviously, we'll see once the season starts, and then things could change at that point. But if we're having a good run, that's not really going to go ahead and really put us over the top, you know. So
I mean, and
it's a
imagine
good
this.
thought, but I don't know. Doubt it. Doubt it actually really happening coming to fruition.
Just think about this scenario, right? It's 1st and 10. You got Dante Thornton Jr., 4-3 guy. Left side. You got Trey Tucker, 4-3 guy. 4-3. He's like a 4-3, almost a 4-4, but he's in the 4-3. Right side. You got Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers and Ashton Genty in the backfield. What defense would not be deathly afraid of that lineup? Because you can run either one of your speed demons or both straight down the line. One of them is going to be open because the safeties can't cover both. Or if they somehow manage to figure out how to make sure that both of these speed demons don't get open, you're going to have the entire middle of the field for Brock Bowers to just feast on. So that's why I would be like, why would we bring in another wide receiver when we already have a wide receiver core that can absolutely do everything that you need to do? Now, I know you're relying a lot on a rookie in Dante Thornton Jr. to be able to do that consistently, but you have to respect this dude's speed and his size. He's bigger than almost all of the corners, if not all the corners in the NFL, and he's faster than most of them. And then you have Trey Tucker on the other side, who's faster than most of the corners in the NFL. He's just not big, right? So I think that, and plus knowing Geno Smith, he has a very accurate deep ball. I would just say, watch. There's going to probably be, I would say, 3, maybe 4 shots down the field.
Oh, yeah.
Past 40 yards every single game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just going to open everything up from Ashton Genty running the ball, Brock Bowers catching stuff over the middle, and Jacoby Myers catching stuff over the middle and different routes that he's going to run. So I don't think, and it doesn't make any sense when you think about a wide receiver making $30 million a year, unless they're the most elite wide receivers out there. Again, like a Jamar Chase, like Jefferson, right? They only touch the ball, on a good day, 7 to 10 times.
Yeah.
That's a waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like you're saying, the reason they're getting that type of money is because of those 7 to 10 times. You talk about Jamar Chase, he takes something 10 yards and he'll take that 60 if he can get his hands on the right route. So that's why they're getting that. And that's why we say there are levels to certain things. Obviously, right. I would say he's an extension. If you're talking about Jacoby, we'll see, because it's so funny. A lot of us talking about Thornton, right? We saying a lot of this about Thornton, and I said it the other day. We hear very minimal about Jack Besh, very minimal. Now, a part of it could be because some of his game requires physicality, and we ain't had pads on yet. So, it'll be hard for him to really showcase what he can do because he's a real physical type receiver that relies on that. But they said he's working in the slot too. And they said Jacoby's working in the slot. So now it's starting to look like, it seems like Jack Besh has to get the reps that Jacoby's getting. And if that's the case, we already talking about a contract extension. I'm just looking down the road a little bit where I'm like, all right, what's the role here? Like, what are we supposed to be doing with Jack Besh? Because we ain't heard zero zilch about nothing he's done in OTAs. Zero. All we hear about is Dante Thornton. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and because Dante is flashy, right? I mean, he's a tall dude. He runs 6'3", flat. I mean, just absolute phenomenal athlete. But it's been the same career curve for Jacoby Myers. He's not flashy, and he doesn't get a lot of attention. He's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL because he does everything. And I think that the reason why they drafted Jack is because he is a replica of what Jacoby can do.
That's what I'm starting to think.
Know Jacoby's in that contract year. Let's draft the clone and see if we can keep this guy for cheaper, because Jacoby's going to require some money.
That's what I'm starting to think, man. And that's the way it looks. It's starting to look that way. Because we already know we got to do Colton Miller, right? And if it's me, I don't know if you guys would agree. I'm paying Colton first. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
I
You
got
gotta take
you
care of
tackle
both.
in first, bro.
Wide receivers are a dime a dozen.
Yep,
Left tackles
yep.
are those are unicorns.
Plus, we know the replacement that we just got this year is not ready and will not be
Nope.
ready no time soon. So we have to
Yep.
go ahead and secure that. With that, well, then it just comes down to how much Jacoby's asking for. If you telling me he's asking for 30 mil, oh yeah, yes. You go ahead and you put Jack Besh in that spot right there. And you say okay at that point, because we're not probably paying him 30 mil. It's probably not happening.
No,
I don't think he would even try to ask for that. Honestly, I think he understands that his value is a wide receiver 2,
Right.
slot receiver, and an all-around Swiss Army knife type of a guy. He can do everything for you, all the dirty grunt work that you need done. I think honestly, he's probably somewhere between the 17 to 19 million a year, and he's probably looking for more longevity. than
Yeah, that's
actual
probably fair.
Money.
That's probably
Right.
fair.
Yeah, I agree. And we don't know what the whole deal with Besh is going on. Obviously, they're still holding out, And again, anybody who doesn't know what's going on with Jack Besh not signing with the Raiders,
So,
still
all thanks to
essentially-
the Houston Texans.
and the Browns. I think the Browns were culprit
Yeah,
there too. So
The
those
Texans
two
and the
teams,
Browns, man.
yeah, those two teams went ahead and gave their second round picks fully guaranteed deals, and that literally turned the market upside down. So all the second rounders are holding out right now to go ahead and try to get guaranteed deal or close to guaranteed as possible.
Which that's what you're supposed to do, bro. You can't.
Yeah.
Can't be mad.
Yeah. So hopefully,
And I'll tell you
we get
this:
that
it's
result
not
pretty soon.
Jack. He's not whole. I mean, like he hasn't signed his contract, but he's at OTAs. He's at mini camp. He was.
It's
at
not a
camp.
Bengals
So it's not
situation
like it's
for everybody
cold.
that's saying it's
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No. But
so
you
this
do want to get
this
that
really
cinched
comes
up
down
pretty
to
soon.
his agent.
Yeah.
He's probably not even involved. He's just like, my agent's dealing with this, all that stuff. They're going back and forth. I'm going to go train. So I don't, because I made a video about that. I don't think that Jack Besh is character one. He's a very high character dude. So he's not going to try and be like, oh, well, I'm a second rounder, so I'm not going to play unless you pay me this amount of money. No, he's not going to do that. It's just really like right now, it's a money game, right? And these guys are all trying to get paid. And quiet as kept, their agents get a percentage of whatever their contract is. So it's in their best interest to get the highest amount possible. Because if you get a guaranteed contract for your player, that means you're also getting that guarantee.
Yeah, your money comes quicker too. Your money comes quicker too. 100%, bro. 100%. I think, business is business, bro. So every time I hear something like that, I don't get angry. I never get angry because at the end, you got to make as much money as you can while you can do it. You know what I mean? It go for any walk of life, football, Raider content creation. It don't matter, bro. If you're trying to multiply your money, you can't be mad at somebody trying to do that, right? Especially if it makes sense and they feel like they're, it's worth that. You know what I mean? I would definitely not be mad at that.
That's exactly why I think the Las Vegas Raiders should just put together a $10 million fund and then just start giving it to all of us content creators.
Man, hey, imagine the content we be making, man, for the nation,
yeah.
Bro.
Man,
it'd be fire, bro. We could just put it you have to have a base amount. You have to have been doing it for so long, at least 6 months. Maybe you have to have, 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. You have to meet some benchmarks, and then you're going to get this amount of money. I think if the Raiders did that, that would just destroy all the other teams' content creators. Because if they were able to pay us to the point where we were actually able to hire editors and staff and stuff like that, all of us content creators for the Raiders, we would have just we would just dominate the market. I think. If Mark Davis is paying attention, I know he does watch YouTube. Take a look into that, Mark. Put us on the payroll.
Yep.
Hey,
exactly.
I've heard that too, man. Hey, I'm always big up Mark, man. I no negative slander on the rundown when it come to Mark. No negative slander.
Yeah.
I mean, the haircut is weird. The haircut is weird, but you know what?
Do what you do, baby. Hey, he still got a 10 on the arm now. He still got a dime.
He's still pulling them in. Yeah. So he's doing something right.
The cut working. It is what it is, bro. He taking the baddies to PF Chang's. I can't be mad. I cannot be mad.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think the best thing that ever happened to Mark was Tom Brady, because now he can just be like, you know, it wasn't me, right? That what was that? Oh man, I forgot that song. The brother had like a reggae sound, but it was like, it wasn't me. She caught me in the shower. It wasn't me. Right now, Mark can be like, Mark, yeah, Shaggy. Mark can be like, it wasn't me. I didn't draft that dude. Wasn't me. I didn't sign that free agent.
And that's what he needed to do. That's exactly what. But see,
You
hey,
sound like Brady right now.
that's what I was just about to say, Jay. Hey, they playing the game together because every time you look at Tom, he's saying something different. I'm not involved, and now all of a sudden I am involved. They playing it perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't know who's doing what and what's doing who.
That's what you're supposed to do anyway. That's how it's supposed
exactly.
to
be. Exactly. Keep them on their toes.
Yep, exactly. Let's go ahead and kind of move into our final segment here. The spotlight, meet our guests. So if you guys are new to Good Morning Raiders, every show we like to go ahead and take a moment to meet our guests. And then none other than this week's guest is Raider D. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Let me ask you this. How long have you been a Raider fan, and what was it that really made you fall in love with the silver and black?
I mean, it's a lifelong thing. I'm from Northern Cali originally. As a child, I was raised in Modesto, very big Raiders population there. Lived in the Bay, lived in Oakland, 55th and Foothill. Those were my old stomping grounds when I was in my teens and early 20s. Well, teens up to about 20. And especially at that time, the Raiders had just come back to Oakland, so it was like just nonstop silver and black. Everything in the town was just like silver and black. So that's really when I got like deep into being a fan. I would say is probably around 16, 17. I'd always been a fan of them, but I didn't like follow like in depthly because I was just a kid. And then, you know, throughout my 20s, 30s, 40s, and now approaching 50, it's just been a lifelong journey of you know, ups and downs, a lot more downs than ups. But yeah, it's like, you know, there's a couple of things that I love about the Raiders, even because of being in the Bay Area. There's a lot of 49er fans, and especially Northern California, a lot of our 49ers fans as well. And there's just one, the culture of the Raiders versus the other team that was in the Bay. It's night and day difference, man. For me, it's like the Raiders were the first to do so many things. The first to have a Latino quarterback win a Super Bowl, Latino head coach, African-American head coach, female president of the team, Jewish owner. Al Davis, a lot of people don't know, he was Jewish. He wasn't religious Jewish, but he was ethnically Jewish. Like he just did so many things differently and contrary to what other NFL owners did. And, you know, since I've started my YouTube journey, I've gotten the opportunity to speak to former and current players. Well, not current players with Al Davis, but former players when Al Davis was alive. And they always said, like, he treated you like family. Even when you got cut by him, you felt good about it. That's how he ran his team, because the whole slogan of once a Raider, always a Raider, that's a cultural thing that he instilled into it. You know, since they moved to Vegas, a lot of fans feel like that culture is kind of missing from the Raiders and stuff, like it was in Oakland and even in LA. But I think just what it stands for, the commitment to excellence and everything else, for me is just a no-brainer, man. There's you know, there's 31 teams in the NFL, and then there's the Raiders.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this. Obviously, every diehard fan has one. Who's your favorite Raider of all time and why?
Bo Jackson, man. That's when I was growing up. Yeah. Bo knows everything, right?
Yeah.
Bo Jackson for me was
the
end-all, be-all. Yeah, he did it all, man. And he was just so electrifying. It was like watching a video game every time he stepped on the field. It sucked that his career was so short. But man, when he was out there, there was just nothing like it. And then obviously, you know, you got the Tim Browns and stuff like that. just phenomenal dudes. But for me, it always goes back to Bo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure.
As it does, man. I mean, I think that's my pot. That's like everybody from the nation. You either talk about Marcus Allen, damn near Bo. It's either Bo Jackson or maybe you talk about, you know what I mean, some of the receivers that we got. But either way it goes, bro, it's always probably Bo. So kind of for me, man, I always like to ask this kind of question too, man. Try to take people, behind the curtain a little bit, so to speak. As far as like your content creation journey and things of that nature, what's been sort of the hardest thing that you've, encountered or that you've dealt with during your journey, you know what I mean, making this, and some of the most rewarding, fulfilling stuff, you know what I mean, that you kind of done.
So the hardest thing, and I just made a video about this yesterday. A lot of the fans that follow me and stuff, they know this because I don't try to hide it. My religion is Islam. I'm a Muslim. I converted to Islam 25 plus years ago, and I get this random, once in a while somebody will just put the most racist, bigoted garbage in there, right? In the comments, and that sucks, man. Because especially being a Raiders fan, knowing that we don't play that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we don't care what your religion is. We don't care what your race is. We don't care what any of that. It doesn't matter
Right.
to us, because that's what the Raider culture stands for. That's what Al Davis stood for, and it should not matter. So for me, the personal attacks, like if you want to attack my opinions on the team, you want to attack the things
It
that
is
I
what it
say.
is.
Like for example, I do have somebody that works for the team. He's been there for several years. He's probably going to be there for several more years. We've become very good friends, and he lets me know some things that is going on with the teams. He's been a big help in me being able to meet some of the players and stuff and get them on the channel and interview them. Um, and if I've had so many people say, "Oh, it's fake news. You're just making it up. You don't have an inside source." Okay, you don't have to believe me. I mean, when I told the nation that Malcolm Kuntz was out for this season a full week before the Raiders announced it, I guess that was fake news. Or and so many other breaking stories that I've put out there, I guess those were fake news too. That's fine. You don't have to believe that. But when people start attacking you personally, that's just something for me, I got pretty thick skin and it wasn't that big of a deal. But seeing it come from people who call themselves dedicated Raiders fans, that was something new for me because I'd never experienced that in Cali. Even out here in Utah, there's way more Raiders fans than there are any other team out here. I've never experienced that in person. The amount of bigotry of so-called Raiders fans that I have since I started making it. So for me, that was the hardest thing. And then June and July just absolutely suck for making content because
Yeah. Do.
it's summertime. Everybody's out enjoying their families, and that's great. I want everybody to enjoy. But come back and watch the videos, guys, because you just see you're going skyrocket like this all year long, even for the draft and free agency, and then it just goes right for 2 straight months. So that kind of sucks. But I would say the greatest thing since I started doing this though is the relationships that I've made of Raider Nation fans, like Raider Ryan, who's in the comments here today.
Yeah.
That dude has supported me from day one when I started my channel, right? D-Man is 4200, another dude supported me from day one.
Yeah.
Big
dog.
I got
big
to
dog.
met Raider Ryan, if you guys know, last year he was able to get 4 tickets to it was a open practice for the Raiders, and I wasn't able to get it. I couldn't get through the login system with the Raiders, and I wasn't able to get it. And I had kind of just given up. I didn't really have my source at that point. I actually, by going down there, I was able to meet up with my source with the Raiders and spend some time with them and become good friends. So Raider Ryan, he lives in Seattle. He wasn't able to go because of work. And so he was like, "Hey, Raider D, if I give these to you, you do whatever you want. If you can make it down there or you give it to some of the other fans." And so what I did is I kept 2 of them for me and my wife. We were going to go down to the practice and record it, which we did. And then I did a giveaway. And so I was able to meet just this wonderful Raiders fan from Orange County, and his wife. She was pregnant. It was crazy hot out there. She's walking around like she's about ready to pop this baby out at any given
Oh
time. Her and my
Lord.
wife were
Yeah.
kicking it, talking and stuff. And it was just so much fun, man. And so none of that would have happened if I had not started this journey 2 years ago of making this content. And every single time somebody subscribes, it's just a humbling feeling that they get some
Yeah.
value out of my opinions, because at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's just opinions. Even if I get some snippet of news or something like that, or one of the players that I have on the show tells me something or something, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm just a guy on YouTube. I'm not ESPN. And the fact that people take the time to subscribe and watch these videos,
Right.
drop super chats and super thanks and become members and all of that stuff to support it's really humbling, because I never would have expected to have something like this.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I mean, obviously it doesn't pay my bills, but another thing that's really cool is the amount of sponsors that have reached out to me. I probably get anywhere from 3 to 4 sponsors reaching out to me every single day, wanting me to take them on as a client and become a sponsor of the channel. I'm very selective in that, and who I actually do it for. But that's been really cool too, because I never expected that. One of our first sponsors was a supplement company, and they have great supplements. As a matter of fact, I still have. They're not a sponsor anymore. They made a bunch of money and they moved on, but they were a sponsor for 3 months. Earth Elixir, one of our very first channel sponsors, and the fact that they were willing to pay me to just mention them in a thing, I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't know that I could make money off of that. And so then you got YouTube ad revenue and stuff, and that's why I always tell people, listen. If you love talking about the Raiders, or you love talking about anything, if you're knowledgeable in any realm, shape, or form, there's an audience for you. And even if that you're not trying to do it full time, like we've created a media company that owns all our assets and everything. If you're not trying to take it to that level, you just want to make a few extra bucks and talk about what you love and you have knowledge in, just do it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's those are my two things. I'm also live streaming this over on my channel with you guys.
Fire.
So I'm gonna throw it back
Appreciate
at you guys now. For all of the guys watching on my channel who may not have known a lot about you guys, now it's your turn. So let's start out with Jay Raider. How'd you get into it? How long you been a Raiders fan? And what do you love about it?
Man, I didn't think I was gonna get the script flipped on me, but
I can't prepare, brother.
Yes,
right?
sir.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, we were talking before the show backstage. I'm coming up towards a year. I started this back in September, but September of last year. But I've been speaking out loud to my family, to my friends, like, "Hey, I want to start a podcast, or what? I want to start a podcast," but I didn't know what. I was chopping it up with my best friend, and we're like, "Well, let's do a podcast to just shoot the shit, and just whatever comes out of it, that's it." But I'm like, I come to think to myself, like, what am I really passionate about? What do I live and breathe? What could I be good at? What could I talk that I know? What the fuck am I talking about? The Raiders. I mean, I run their gear. I've been a fan for almost 30 years. Go to the games. I'm a diehard fan. I love talking about ball. That makes sense. Let me start a podcast about the Raiders. And I wasn't comfortable speaking in front of a camera. Was not comfortable being on camera. I'm like, let me take some baby steps and put out some videos. Let me see if I get a little bit of a following, and then maybe I'll do that. This thing really didn't start taking off until my guy, it was in the chat. Shout out to my guy Leo. He really gave me that chance. He brought me on his show, Put Raider Podcast, and that's really where I started being more on camera. Doing takes, and really go from there. And he decided to go ahead and make this group of this show where we do a preview show, I got to link up with my guy Raider Jeff. Shout out to my guy Raider Jeff. LV Raider 10, and we formed the Raider Connection and started making this a regular thing. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to jump over from doing videos to doing an actual live stream podcast and kind of go from there. But I mean, I've been a Raider. I mean, I grew up in LA. That's where I'm from. I grew up with the Raiders. No, but I mean, I had a couple brothers that were Raider fans, but they weren't really Raider fans. You know, they weren't diehard. I'm the one who really started watching Raiders. I would, you know, they were on my TV. I would tune into certain Channel 5 out in Cali, watch the Raiders at the Coliseum. I was about like 6, 7 years old. I'm rocking with the Raiders. And so I fell in love with them. And, you know, I had the chance, and not, they weren't the only team in LA. There were the Rams, but the Rams really didn't do it for me. It was the Raiders, their mystique, their attitude, their play. It just drew you to them. And it just, from there, that's just all she wrote. And then it really capsized when we lost. It's funny because most people associate that tuck rule game to
Right.
like heartache. And that's really where I even became more of a fan because I was so pissed. I was so outraged that that happened. I'm like, how the fuck are we going to do this to our guys?
Bro, I was this
we're-
close to throwing my TV out the window.
Yes, exactly. And I'm over here at a watch party, you know, with my guys watching that, and we're all losing our shit. And that's really where like the diehardness came. Because now, come the next season, there was a chip on our shoulder. There was a chip on my shoulder. Like, these guys need to go ahead and redeem themselves, and they did. So that's kind of a little bit about my story. I mean, you know, I was fortunate enough to meet my guy, the Raider Rundown. We've been talking a long time to go ahead and do a show together. And I created this show, Good Morning Raiders, to, you know, not only unite content creators, but ultimately I just wanted to go ahead and really bring in the best content creators and just get their takes, pick their brain. I want to hear what they really had to say on certain things. And that's kind of how it really started going. And once I brought in Rundown, that's how she wrote. And we do a damn thing now. And
Yes, sir.
I
As
one
we
of the
do.
fire shows on Saturday morning for the Raider Nation. So I'm really proud of it that I do my thing with him for sure.
Yeah,
That's enough of me. That's enough of me. I'll put it over to my boy.
Ready to
Nah.
run down. You on the spot, man.
Oh man. For me, I think we going on 2 years now. I started this in 23. So going on 2 years, and for me, I mean, I started it because I was watching. You know, of course, I'm watching everybody do their podcast thing. I'm watching everybody, you know, talk about the game, but you know, I played a little bit in college, you know, high school a little bit. And a part of me is, you know, when you get competitive and you got that competitive thing, and you kind of, you know, you got to find something, you know what I mean, to scratch the itch. So for me, I'm looking at, you know, the podcast realm. And of course, I get to thinking that there's not a lot of younger fans in the podcast realm that you talk about the Raiders. You know, when you look at everybody that's making content, you know what I mean? Even my guy Jay, he's older than me, you know what I mean? And then you look at everybody else, they've seen playoff wins, they've seen Super Bowls, or I was going to high school when this has happened. But when I looked around before I started it, I'm like, there is not anybody that's 20 years old or whatever younger, you know what I mean, that's maybe talking about the Raiders because we haven't won. You know what I mean? We haven't done anything. So, you know, it all culminates to say, you know, that made me say, I want to start my channel for the younger fans. You know what I mean? Ones that say, all right, well, maybe we haven't seen the Raiders do this, and that, but you know, it's just something unexplainable. Maybe we was brought in by blood. Like, I know me personally, my pops, you know what I mean, my family, we were going to Oakland for 15 years. You know, my damn near the first 15 years of my life while we was in Oakland, just going back and forth. And of course, we all know wasn't many winning times. You know what I mean? I could count on a couple hands of the times I saw them win a game. But still,
I tell you one thing, that Oakland Coliseum was an experience.
That's what I'm saying. When you get, you know, because I'm from South, you know, the Southern California. So when you got to take that, either you drive down there or you take that plane ride, it's an experience, bro. It's different. Oakland is not the
Yeah.
same as LA. You know what I mean? So it's completely different vibe, and you meet different people. And then when you get to that tailgate, you like, damn, your pops and you know when you're small, you see your pops do certain things, your family do certain things. You like, damn, he must know him for 10 years. And then when you look, he's like, damn, my pops just met that dude. So then now when you get to understand, it's like that's how Raider
10
fans
minutes
are.
ago.
Exactly. So that's how Raider fans are. You know what I mean? So then you get to do that, and of course, while you playing, you draw inspiration from certain players. You know, my dude always Darren McFadden. I mean, that's just my guy. I know he had a injury riddled career, but while you playing, and of course I'm playing running back at the time, I'm like, dog, he was probably he could do no wrong in my eyes. I tell you like that. So just getting
when
that
he was
culmination.
on, he was on.
Oh man, what? I mean, I always remember that Denver game, right? He single-handedly killed Denver in one game. You know what I mean? I think he was the whole team that game. So for me, that kind of started it for me, and going forward, bro, as Jay said, met him. We linked up on this show as obviously one of the more fire shows here on Saturday. But got with my TRS guys, Chris from Protect the Shield, that's my guy. You know what I mean? Severe, Cheeto, all them guys. You know what I mean? And of course Turf, Big Unk. You know what I mean? You start that family, you start, getting around like-minded guys when it comes to this content creation stuff, and you start understanding, like, you know what I mean? This is where, you start to find family. You know what I mean? I always say it for my chat too. My chat aren't subscribers, bro. They're family. So I always say it all the time. I mean, shit, it's getting to the point. They growing with me. I mean, my chat done see me start my channel. I was doing shit in the car, and then to all the way now, they didn't see me have my son. So at this point, man, like, it's fam when it comes to the people that stay in my chat and rock with me. So it's very fulfilling, you know what I mean, coming with this, and I always appreciate it. But that's enough on rundown, man.
Yeah, and it is to be honest with you guys. Everybody in the chat who supports the show, their family. Shout out to my guy G Fam. Just literally sent a super the other day just to keep the lights on, and I appreciate that. Some of these things cost money to go ahead and maintain, but at the ultimate day, when I don't even feel like getting on and doing a live, I still push myself because it's not just about me, it's about our people out there who tap in, who support us. And my guy Navman, yes, you were my first super chat when I got monetized. Shout out to him. I appreciate you, my guy. You supported us. You supported Rundown. All my guys too, Jeff. We appreciate all of you guys. Even if you don't super chat, even if you guys are just tapping in on the chat, even if you guys don't even tap into the chat, you guys are spectating. It's still all love. We do this for you guys to really put on great content that you guys go ahead and tap into, that you guys enjoy. That's really one of my biggest takes from all of this. It's just I get with Run and I tell him, like, bro, like I'm gonna try to work on some topics, on some stuff, and there's a lot of time that gets put into putting out a show like this, and reaching out to like guys like Raider D, where like literally I don't like track you down on Twitter, bro. Like little things that I have to do. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that gets done to make the shows happen like this. So again, appreciate everybody, man.
That's why I tell everybody, a lot of people they don't understand. They watch a 5-minute or an 8-minute video, and they think that that's all it takes to make these videos. Even with a podcast, like you said, it takes time to reach out to guests and find people and stuff like that. I go back and forth with players and their agents and stuff, back and forth to get a time set and get somebody on the show. That takes time, and then you go back and you're talking about doing the editing and everything else. I had Mitchell Rentz on my show.
Fire! Shout out to the guy, man. Shout out to
Mitch. And we was talking because we was actually beefing, which is funny. It wasn't really beefing, but he had just said something on one of his shows. I was like, dude, I'm gonna call you out for that because that's some BS. You can't be throwing active players under the bus like that. And so I called him out in a video. And then he responded to me. He was really cool about it. He was like, "Look, man, I'll come defend my position. We can talk about it." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Come on the show. We'll talk about it." And I had my position. He had his. Well, after that, like we still disagree on the position. He felt like he was okay to say what he said about that player and other players. I disagree with it, but he looks at it as I'm more of a journalist than a fan. I'm a fan, but I'm more of a journalist. I got some information. I'm going to put it out there. And I was like, dude, that's going to hurt the team morale. You shouldn't put that out there. But once we put that aside, this dude is actually really, really cool. And so, we still occasionally talk from time to time. In fact, I'm supposed to have him on my show, I think next month.
That's fire, man. That's fire.
But,
That's fire.
People don't realize when you're making videos and you put so much time into it. Like one of my best performing videos was Khalil Mack video, mini documentary on him and how, he got traded away and all that stuff, how all that happened. Man, that video took me 12 hours of editing to put that 1 6-minute video out. 12 hours of editing. Research, editing, all that stuff, 12 straight hours. And I was just like chugging coffee. My wife's like, take a break. I'm like, I'm not finishing until this video's done. Now that video also was one of the videos that helped blow up my channel, so it was definitely worth it. But people don't realize how much as creators we put into our craft and doing this. When you're doing it on a daily basis and you're in a lot of us got full-time jobs and families and everything else. So we're taking that time. So I always say, like, you don't have to give me a super chat. I'm not going to ask you for a super chat. You don't have to become a member. I'm not going to ask you to become a member. I'm not going to, pull some stunt to get a super chat or, anything like that. If you do it, great. That's fine. But the best way to support your favorite Raiders creators, and if they're putting out good content, you should be supporting all the Raiders creators, is very simple. And that is just hit the subscribe button, because that helps the algorithm to know, hey, this video has value. People are actually engaging with it. Hit that like button and drop a comment, because these types of things, the sponsorships, they're gonna come, and those are what's gonna pay your favorite creators' bills. The super chats and even the ad revenue from YouTube, that pales in comparison to what a YouTube creator can make with sponsorships. And so I always say, don't give me money. Just hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. If you got value. If you're not getting value, I totally understand. But if you got some value out of it, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, and hit the like button, and share it to your friends and family. That's the best way to support us creators, because once that starts happening, when these brands see, oh, this guy has 10,000 subscribers, 15,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers, and his videos are getting 10,000 views, 20,000 views, they're gonna find our email in the description of our channel, and they're gonna start reaching out. That's exactly what happened to me. Well, I will say we actually reached out to this company 2 years ago, and they were our first paid sponsor. So creators, if anybody's watching or listening in the community as well, don't be afraid to reach out if you're trying to grow. If you want to do this like full time, if this is your career, you want to make it a career, you want to make it a business, I'll tell you two things. Number one, go get you an LLC, put all of your assets under that LLC, or better yet, if you have more like I do, I have multiple channels, put each one of those assets under a different company. That's the best thing to do. And then now you have a professional business account, which is going to hold more weight to these brands who want to be a sponsor, because the brands will try to cheap you. They will definitely try to they'll lowball you like crazy. If you're just a creator and you just have a Gmail and you don't have a business and it's just like, yeah, can you Venmo me? No, go get an LLC, get a bank account, a business bank account, and when you reach out to them or they reach out to you, be like, yeah, well, our company that owns all of our assets is XYZ company, so that's where our email is going to come from, and that's who you'll be making the payment to. Are you okay with that as a brand? Yes, you're okay with that. Oh, this dude's got a company. A company owns all these assets. Well, now we gotta play a little bit better. So, that's my recommendation to everybody that's doing it. Do it on a more professional level if you want to really grow it. And as you know, the fans and the fam in the Raider Nation, just just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share it, comment, especially comment. I love the comments. I try to
Oh
read
yeah,
as many.
me too.
It's hard because I get so many of them, but I try to read and respond to as many as I possibly can. And some of the comments, man, are just so hilarious. I love them. They just
Yeah,
make my day.
yeah,
That's a fact. That's a fact. Some of the comments are always there, man. But I'm glad you spit that game to us right there. And certain other, creators that might be listening, man. If you just starting out, you
yeah,
spitting that game, man. So make sure you guys get in there. It just depends how far you want to take it.
yeah,
To be honest. But AJ, I think this is another fire one, man. I think we got
yep.
another one in the books,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely got to go ahead and put that in the books. Appreciate our guy Raider D pulling up with us, chopping up with us on the Saturday morning. I know you're a busy guy and you have a lot going on, so we thank you for taking the time and talking some Raider ball and this was a really good ending to it and really chopping it up and flipping the script and having us talk about our journey as well and our everything that we continue to go ahead and put out as well. So really quick, and this was my last question to you. And I know you touched on it a little bit. What do you let everybody know what you have going on? Anything that they should look out for? Any collabs? Anything like that?
Yeah, so I mean, we're hoping to get back down to Vegas again. I'm only a couple hours from Vegas, but we're hoping to get down to Vegas, hopefully before preseason, and do some more in-person interviews with some players. Um, right now, we're just I'm out here working on my ranch, and that's like a full-time job in and of itself. And then I have a couple other companies that we're starting, and so my time has been pretty limited on that. So most of my interviews have just been like this, using online. But we want to get back down to Vegas this year and get some more in-person interviews. So look out for those. We have some guys that are definitely down to do that are on the team, that we've spoken to. So
Fire.
hopefully we'll be able to get down there and do that. And then, I got always, I love making the documentaries. It takes a lot of my time for the editing and the research, but we have some documentaries coming up that are going to be fire as well. If you guys haven't seen my documentary, I have two documentaries actually on Brock Bowers, Khalil Mack, Malcolm Kuntz, Trey Tucker, a whole bunch of guys. Go check those out. But obviously, in the slow season right now for content creation, that's really when I kind of focus on the documentaries.
Mhm.
And so we got more of those coming out as well. So be on the lookout for those. And then I got hooked on Google's VO3, so I've been making these funny Bigfoot Raider Larry videos. If you
Mhm.
guys haven't seen those, they're
Been
super
seeing that.
funny. Yeah, so go check those out too. I'll keep making more of those during the slow season as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, well, for sure. If you guys if you guys are not subscribed to Raider D, make sure you guys go ahead and head on over to go ahead and give him a subscribe. I put his link on the channel. You guys go ahead and tap in and hit that subscribe button for him, and then I put ours as well. And you can also find it in the description down below. For everybody who didn't get to pull up for the live, who's going to watch the replay, it's down below in our description, so you can go ahead and hit that
Yeah.
subscribe button for sure.
And same thing, because I'm live on my channel too. So everybody that's watching on my channel, go hit up Raider Rundown, hit up J Raider, check out their stuff, man. They put out some phenomenal stuff, and especially these podcasts on Saturdays are absolutely a joy to watch. So go and check
Man,
them
I
out.
appreciate you, my man, and
For
definitely,
sure,
would
sure.
love to have you on the solo show at any time,
Yes,
for sure.
same.
Definitely do one of those. Definitely can link it up if we
For sure.
can.
Yeah,
Um,
And I always
for
say
sure.
that as well, guys. Like, it's a community. I know that there's a couple of guys in the community who are a little stuck up because they've got so many subscribers and
uh huh.
won't bring
Yeah.
anybody on.
Uh huh.
I'm not. That just shows you their character, and so it is what
Hey,
it is.
hey, trust me, I'm
Anybody and
hip.
everybody,
I'm hip. I
yeah,
already know
yeah.
what time it is with that.
Anybody and everybody's welcome on my show. Hit me up anytime. I'll come on your show. Come on my show. It's Raiders football. Who doesn't want to talk about that?
Come
Yeah,
on now,
for
you already know
sure.
what time it is, man. But much love to everybody, man. Hey, you gonna see a collab soon, everybody. Hey, check it
There
out,
you go.
Rundown fam. We gonna get something in. As you know,
For
Rundown always gets you right with your big back activities for the weekend. It's too damn hot to be doing greasy shit this weekend. All right, so go
I
eat you a
know.
salad. All right, go drink a smoothie, something. It's too hot to be doing the grease. All right, we'll
Oh,
try that next week.
hey, I'm gonna still do the grease. If you guys didn't see on my Instagram, don't judge me, bro. I'm just trying to live my best life, my guy. You
I gotta
know.
wait till the sun go down for me to do that, bro. If I eat greasy shit while the sun up, I start sweating. I can't do it.
Oh man, yeah, but hey, appreciate really pulling up.
Yes, sir.
Really quick, couple particulars. So just so y'all know, everybody who's tapped in with us currently, we are going to be off next week, so we will not have Good Morning Readers next Saturday. But tap in with us the following Saturday. We have a very special guest, and really quick, I'm a shameless plug. My guy Jeff, tap into Jeff's show tonight. Last call show with Christopher Raiders as well. They have a very special guest. They're gonna have Violator on their show tonight. Make sure you guys go ahead and tap into that. If you're not tapped into Raider Jeff, make sure you guys and Christopher Raiders, make sure you guys go ahead and give them a follow. They will have Violator on their show tonight, and we're actually gonna have them in 2 weeks. Violator will be in the studio chopping it up with us.
Have you ever chopped it up with him yet?
No, this is gonna be the first time,
bro. It's such a joy, man. I had him on my show last year. The dude he's just like a museum of knowledge about the Raiders, man.
I can't wait.
So much fun.
I can't wait.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good one. Shout out to my guy Raider Jeff. Make sure you guys go ahead and tap into that, and we'll have Violator on ourselves in a couple of weeks. But man, can't wait for that one for sure. But another one in the books. Another fire show in the books for sure. Thank you guys again for tapping in with us. I know you guys have a lot of choices to go ahead on a Saturday morning, but we appreciate you guys pulling up with us as always.
Out of here. And real quick, man, y'all stay on the lookout. I have a very special guest coming to the podcast on Wednesday. Shameless plug. Very, very special. So y'all stay on the lookout. I'm gonna announce that thing tomorrow.
Yep. There you go. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys. You guys have a good weekend. And again, always remember, Just Raiders, baby. We'll see you guys next time.
Hold on. I just have one thing to say. If you guys are all right with that,
go ahead. I already know.
You guys cool? Raiders just win, baby.
Let's go, baby. I can't wait for the season now. I'm ready. Raiders.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how we end it, baby.
Appreciate you guys. Salute to everyone. And we'll see you guys next time.
2 weeks.
Peace out, y'all.